What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video this week. Today what we're actually going to be doing is we're actually going to be working on the S2000. Now I know we're in the Supra, but that's largely just because I still need to go get some parts for the S. So let's do that right now. Let's pull out of my garage. I'm taking the Supra because I love driving the Supra. And what we're going to be doing on the S2000 is we're going to be doing a really important, it's not a mod, I would just say it's more of a fix. Going to be re-greasing the shifter assembly. Yeah, so if you guys want part numbers, if you guys own the S2000s, check out the description. There will be the part numbers down below, just so you guys know exactly what to get. And I'll show you guys the process today. The new M340i, I think. No. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Never mind. God, I see my vision is terrible, so I can't see things. It's the M235 Grand Coupe. Alright guys, I am going to pull in and I'm gonna go grab my parts. And then I actually have to do a few more errands. So I'm gonna go do that. And then once we get back to the house, we'll start the shifter re-greasing process. Alright, what's up, you guys? We are back. We finally picked up all of our parts. Now, there was one part that I am missing, but hopefully, the only reason why you would want to replace this part is if, one, it breaks, or two, if you break it. If it doesn't break, then you don't need to replace it, but I want to get one just in case. They didn't have it in stock, so I put it on order. What I'll probably do is I'll just replace it once I get it. Anyways, these are the tools that you're gonna need to to re-grease your S2000 shifter. So you definitely need some gloves, rags, paper towels. So this is the foam insert. Now foam in general doesn't last very long, especially when it's, you know, lots of temp, maybe moisture, grease. It will degrade, so I decided to get a replacement. This is surprisingly the most expensive part. You're gonna need Honda high temp Urea grease, shifter spring, which, to be perfectly honest, probably don't need to replace this, but I got one just in case. This is the little ball pivot joint. This is the part that tends to crack and have issues most of the time, so this is a definitely replace. And then the shift boot collar, which this can crack as well. As you can see, they're both plastic, so they definitely have the high. These two is really what you need. The rest is if you really want to. Again, product numbers will be in the description below. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to be using a pick tool, and you're going to need a socket wrench with a 10mm socket. And then, of course, plastic trim removal tool for the interior. So let's go ahead, get inside the car, and then let's remove everything. And then we'll bring it back over to the table. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off the shifter assembly here. So obviously, first thing to do, gotta remove shift knob. Luckily I have the Acuity shift boot collar, or whatever it's called. So that's pretty easy. I'm actually just gonna put that in here. Shifter removal tool, honestly, we just, looks like that even popped up. And now we have to disconnect. We have to also remove the connectors for the soft top and the emergency lights. To find where to push and then pull. Cool. Now we have to remove, so this is the foam I'm talking about. So luckily it looks like it's not in terrible condition. It's probably still usable. It is pretty dirty, but it is cracked and it's starting to fall apart in some places, so I'm just gonna replace it anyways, because honestly it's getting old and it's probably not doing too much anymore. So we're gonna throw that out. Okay, now all that's out. I don't know why this all of a sudden is like something feels loose. Anyways, now we have to remove this plastic ring here. This is kind of what I was talking about that I did forget. So Apparently you can do this with either a pick tool or a flathead screwdriver. It's supposed to just like pop up. You can also see how dirty it is. Okay, so I had to do this with two hands, so I couldn't actually film this. So I managed to get all the tabs popped without breaking the ring, which is good because I don't want this to break. Now I actually have to pull this shift boot collar out. Go, it is dirty. So all that dirt in there, that is, I don't know if you can see, that's probably like residue from the old foam, so we're going to be getting rid of that. Okay, and the last step to remove this is there are three. Okay, so I just looked it up. So this rubber shield here, I have to pry that away. I don't think I can do it with my hands because I'm actually kind of weak. So I might need some needle nose pliers. So some needle nose pliers, and I'm just gonna grab, there we go. This will give me access to 3 bolts. So there's one there, and then one there. So this uses a 10mm socket. Now that is unbolted, I want to take this out. And yeah, if you look at that, that is old. The grease seems to have pretty much dried up. It's all dark. Make sure you get a towel for this. That is going to be cleaned up. So, and it looks like if you look down here, all that grease is dried up. So this is going to definitely help. So I'm gonna bring this over to the table, set this down over here, and what we need to do is we need to actually now clean up the old grease that is in here. Just, oh yeah, and then here's the old spring. Yeah, that almost looks like there's almost no grease in here. Okay, so we've taken out the shifter assembly. Now, definitely look at kind of the let's see if I can focus on this. Come on, out of focus. Yeah, look at the grime on this. Now, this is the black stuff. This is supposed to be the urea grease, but as you can see, it's like it's gotten really like sticky and gooey, and you know, grease is supposed to be like a lubricant, right? It's supposed to allow things to move smoother, but this is definitely not doing that. It is super dirty. So we're actually gonna just completely replace the spring because, yeah, I don't know. It might as well, right? Because I don't really want to clean this. I have a perfectly clean one that I just bought. It wasn't very expensive. So we're gonna remove that. And then you see here, this is also just covered in that like gunk, and there's plenty of play here, and it's really gross. If you can see it, it's just gunk now. It is no longer a grease. So we want to clean this out. We want to get it all clean, and then we're gonna re-grease it, and then we're gonna go ahead and reinstall it. So there are two things that I want to take off. I want to take off the little plastic nub at the bottom, and then I want to take off this collar here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and clean everything out. Let's see if I can just pull it off. I may not be able to, honestly. Like, I think I might have to actually just break it off. So I did end up breaking the thing. It's okay. We're not reusing it anyways. You're gonna need a lot of rags for this. Okay, I finally got the collar off. It required me to break it. man, this thing actually stays on so much more than I thought it would. But it's still like old and crusty, and I want to get rid of it. So we finally have the shifter assembly here. Take a fresh rag, clean it, wipe it clean. I don't want any more, no more old grease, please. I know my entire work area is just greased up now. So take a few more, there. So all clean. So now what we want to do is we want to put grease on the entire thing. So everything from the ball joint up here down to the ball joint down there. And then we're going to reinstall the new plastic shift collar or whatever it is assembly. But we're going to be using the super high temp Honda Urea grease. Kind of looks like that. So literally just want to take our finger, okay, so now this is the new one. I need to fit this back onto here like so. I hope there isn't like a forwards or backwards. There probably is. It looks the same either way, so I'm gonna want to do it. Okay, managed to get this on. Now, I think I could probably add some more grease in there, to be perfectly honest. It might have lost some grease when I was trying to put it on, so I'm gonna just kind of stick it in there, stick it here, put it on the top. Now, from what I hear, you actually want to use a lot of this stuff. So the interesting thing is, it's definitely greased up, but it feels like tight instead of like the other one was like super loose and just kept moving no matter what. Like actually like smooth, but also direct, which is really good. So that's right. I'm gonna be doing the little ball joint thing. So just take this, just dunk it in the Urea grease, get it all nice and greasy, and then we're gonna just push this on here. Look at that. There we go, nice and on. I didn't break it. No, I did not. So I'll just turn it a bit, spread the grease in there, and there's no play in it, which is really good. Okay, so now we actually want to coat everything in grease. Finger, liberally, everything in grease. Quite a bit of grease. So we're actually gonna leave this here, and then I'm gonna go grease the shifter assembly in the car itself. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are, back in the car. That's been nicely re-greased. So first thing we wanna do is we wanna take our spring, so it can go in either way, and just fit it down like that. And then we wanna take our shifter assembly, and it only goes in one way. Okay, this was kind of difficult. I definitely needed two hands for this. Okay, that was some work. So basically, it's easiest to get this bolt in first, and then I did this bolt afterwards. But trying to line it up. Now remember, this only goes in one way. So you wanna make sure that it can sit all the way in first. But the difficulty is holding it down because of the spring and then tightening these bolts. And these bolts are supposed to go to 8 pound-feet of torque. I don't have like a torque wrench, at least not a small one, but generally speaking, and I looked this up on Google, 8 foot-pounds of torque is something easily done just with your arm string. So just get it like nice and tight. That should generally be about 8 to 9 pound-feet of torque. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and get the foam. We're gonna put that in. Okay, now we have the foam. We're just gonna squeeze this in. This just kind of goes in like that. Really, not really much of a install there, but you know, that is much nicer than what it was before. As if you can remember, it was all like degraded and worn out in some of these sides, so that's nice and new. We're gonna go ahead and put the shift boot on. You see these 4 like slots here. That's where these clips go. So now the nice thing is the clips, you can see where they are is by this arrow right here. So that arrow right there on the plastic ring tells you where the clip is. This should be able to just snap in place. Yeah, there you go. That was easy. All right, it's just plastic clips, nothing big. Wow, this actually feels really, really good. All right, let's get the rest of the assembly back in. There we go. And that is so much better. Oh my goodness. Like, this was good before. Like, this was already good. But oh my god. It's like a brand new shifter. Now, I know like some people online have been like, oh, I did the re-greaser but didn't really feel any different. It's honestly, there's a good chance that the reason why it didn't feel any different was because your shifter, you know, the part that was greased was actually already good. So, you know, I still recommend anyone do this if they know the previous owner hadn't done it. I'm pretty sure the previous owner didn't do it on my car because this car only had 58,000 miles on it when I got it. Generally speaking, you're not going to be doing that kind of maintenance on a car with so low miles. Everything's so mechanical and it's so smooth. Like, all that extra play that was in the plastic collar, like, that's gone. It's nice and tight and like super mechanical, and you can hear you can hear it go directly into the gate. All right, guys, so that's basically it for today. I know I'm not the best mechanic or anything like that. I'm not very good with my hands, but even then, this really wasn't too bad. It took us, what, an hour to do or so, give or take. For a lot of professionals, this should only take like 15-20 minutes, but again, I'm not good with my hands. So if you're like me and this is something that needs to be done, you feel that your shifter is getting really notchy, you feel like it doesn't like sit in gear properly, or you know, there's some weird like grindiness when you're driving, do this. Re-grease your shifter. This makes a world of a difference. Like, if you guys could remember, like when I showed you the old grease, it was all sticky, it was filled with dirt, it was almost like a sandy texture, you know. And a lot of people will say, oh well, you know, you don't have to replace all the little like plastic parts, you can just clean it off. But honestly, for me, I was just like, let's just go with new parts. I don't want worn down parts. I mean, this car has currently 69,000 miles on it, and so with old worn down parts, I don't want that. So everything new, with the exception of the shifter itself, but all new plastic parts, new grease, new insulation, everything, new spring. I just wanted to replace all that. In total, this cost me $150 for everything. So the grease, the insulator, which was the most expensive thing, the spring, the plastic ball nub thing, the plastic collar, cost me about $150 from Honda. So it's not too bad. Now, if you were only to just re-grease and nothing else, the Urea grease itself is like 15 bucks. So if you're just gonna do that, that's totally fine. It'll probably still make a difference anyways, but I decided to do a replacement of everything, and I think it's totally worth it. $150, do it yourself. It took me an hour. Awesome. I mean, granted, I was also filming, so but yeah, I mean, I'm done. That's it. The shifter feels awesome. I can't wait to drive this next time at autocross or on mountain roads. It's gonna feel amazing. So with that, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys got a lot of information from this video. Hope it helped you guys out. Again, definitely recommend it. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.